Somebody said, who said that? Marco said Charles is working more than the government lately. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate that. Make sure y'all tap into this live, man. We finally addressing it. And I'm gonna give y'all the backstory why we're doing the show because I said we wouldn't, but I'm gonna give you guys the backstory real quick. So make sure y'all tap in. Let me know where y'all are coming in from, man. We're gonna do a fun live before I head out to the gym, and then we're gonna have fun with it. So make sure y'all tap in. Let me know where y'all are coming in from. Love to all of y'all, man. Shout out to the Bronx in the building. Somebody said you ain't got enough subscribers. No, it's the grind, man. You know, it's the grind. We picking it up. It's the ebbs and flows, but we're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna get there. Somebody said Charles for president. Appreciate that. I think that's Puerto Rico out there. Phoenix in the building. What up? Miami, Florida in the building. Tokyo, Japan. Okay, shout out to Tokyo in the building. New Orleans in the building. Who else we got? McCain. He said, let's go. We need this live. I'm going to give you guys the backstory because I already said I wasn't going to touch on this topic, but some things happened. So I decided, okay, let me touch on it now. So make sure y'all tap in. We're going to get it going in the next, let me say, minute or so. And then we're going to get this live going. So make sure y'all join the live. Shout out to Houston, Texas in the building. I see you. San Diego in the building. I see you. Dominican Republic in the building. What up? Charles, did you see my comment under the RG? Yeah, I saw it. I mean, it's whatever, man. Whatever. Whatever. Pennsylvania's shout out to Pennsylvania in the building. Greetings from China. Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to Little Rock. What else we got? Well, let's give it another 30 seconds and we're gonna get into this live. First time I'm catching the live. Welcome in. I had your back. Yeah, I saw, man. I saw. The dude's like, why you got a Haitian up there? I'm like, well, I'm not Haiti. I don't have nothing against Haiti, but I'm not Haitian. New Orleans in the building. Shout out to you. St. Louis in the building. Bahamas. Let's give it 10 more seconds. Mount Vernon. Money making Mount Vernon in the building. Sweden. What else we got? That's South Carolina in the building. VA in the building. Chicago in the building. Okay, so let me get into this live, man. Shout out to DC and everybody else out there. Let me just make sure I sent out the notification for the live. Okay, so let's get into this story here, man. So I was not going to do a show about this. I actually posted about it on the channel yesterday. I said I'm not going to do a show reacting to what these guys had to say because I understood that clearly it was rage bait. What I've learned is that what these lists do, these people that create these lists, in order for them to get like a reaction out of the public, they'll create a list and then they'll put one or two spots in there that's going to get everybody talking. They did it last year. I think it was ESPN that did it. So now these guys are doing it. So it's just I think it's just another example of that, right? And you guys saw the uproar that everybody's in. Everybody's pretty pissed off at Kobe Bryant being ranked as the 11th best player of all time. Shaq spoke out. A lot of people just spoke out. I was listening to a clip this morning on YouTube. Let me see if I can find who said it. It was a channel. Let me see if I can find a channel. It's an NFL player. It's Channing Crowder went off on this show. So everybody's pretty upset about where Kobe Bryant is being ranked as the 11th greatest player of all time. A lot of people are pissed off about it. So what happened was I tuned into an episode of Gil's Arena, and Gil was kind of defending the list or trying to make sense out of it. So I messaged him about it, like what he thought, and he was trying to defend it. We were going back and forth. So I told him, I said, Gil, well, let's get on the show today. Let's get on the show, and then let's talk about it, right? So we were supposed to get on the show today. So I don't know, maybe some people saw it. We had like a test live up there where Gil was supposed to join, but because of scheduling, I think he's doing his own show. We couldn't figure out a time to do the show together. But Gil was supposed to be on this show, so he may pop up. I don't know, but we were supposed to do it together for him to kind of explain it, to give his point of view on why he thinks that this list makes sense. So I sat back and I looked at the list. First of all, y'all, let's just get through their top 20 players. They got Michael Jordan at number 1, LeBron James at number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 3, Magic Johnson at number 4, Bill Russell at number 5, Shaq at number 6, Tim Duncan at number 7, Larry Bird at number 8, Wilt Chamberlain at number 9, Stephen Curry at 10, Kobe at 11, Hakeem at 12, KD at 13, Oscar at 14, Jerry West at 15, KG at 16, Joker at 17, Dirk at 18, David Robinson at 19, and Dr. J at 20. So the one that has everybody pissed off is the fact that Kobe's number 11. That's the first part. The second part that is pissed off a lot of people is the person they replace him out of the top 10 with, which is Stephen Curry. So these voters came to the conclusion that Stephen Curry is or should be ranked higher than Kobe Bryant. Okay, I'm trying to address this thing in a way where I don't end up like using too much of my energy. I'm trying to understand what would warrant Stephen Curry being ahead of Kobe. And based off of talking to Gil and listening to some people that create these lists, what I've come to the conclusion is this. Number one, the most valued thing that these guys are using to create their top list or top 10 or whatever it is are MVPs, regular season MVPs. I spoke to Gil. That was his number one talking point. He was talking about MVPs. I heard Shannon Sharp today react to it. He was talking about regular season MVPs. So based off of what I'm hearing, the number one criteria that I keep hearing is MVPs, regular season MVPs. This is what I keep hearing. So a lot of these guys are using that. Gil asks me, what is your criteria for ranking players all time? What is your criteria? Because apparently what these guys are doing is using a weighted system. So what they seem to be doing is, and I'm guessing that, hey guys, let's try to get these likes up to 100 likes. What I think they're doing is they are attributing a point system to or value to every accolade. And then they're now weighing those accolades and saying, well, if you have 4 MVPs, you have so-and-so amount of points. If you have this scoring title, you have so-and-so amount of points. If you have all NBA teams, you have so-so amount of points. And then whenever they arrive at a number, they then rank these players based off of that. And they say, well, Jordan comes 1, LeBron comes 2, this guy comes 3, blah, blah, blah. That's how they're weighing it. That's what I think they're doing. And to me, I think that their way of ranking these players is flawed. Because, first of all, if that's how you guys are going to rank players, then we don't need to watch basketball. All we need to do is let the games be played. And at the end of the night, we should be able to read the stat sheet. And the stat sheet should tell us what exactly went on. Right? The stat sheet should tell you that. But the problem is, this is not how we evaluate great players. We don't evaluate players with our eyes closed. So here is my criteria for judging players. Number 1, eye test. Number 2, stats/accolades. Number 3, era, competition, and context. And number 4, leadership/intangibles. If I had to put a percentage to it, I would say 25% eye test, 25% stats and accolades, 25% the era, competition / the context, and 25% your leadership and your intangibles. That's how I would come to a conclusion. And skills fall under eye test for me. So using that metric, which is more robust than, oh, how many MVPs, how many regular season awards do you have? I'm going to attribute points to it and then weigh it. I'm going to look at it from a much more what's the word? Sophisticated standpoint. So, looking at their top 10 players, do I think that Michael Jordan is a top 10? Obviously. Do I think LeBron is top 10? Yes. Do I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is top 10? Yes. Do I think Magic Johnson is top 10? Yes. Do I think Shaq is top 10? Yes. Do I think Tim Duncan is top 10? Yes. Do I think Larry Bird is top 10? Yes. Do I think Kobe Bryant is top 10? Yes. Do I think Steph is top 10? No. And in my top 10, I have Hakeem Olajuwon in my top 10. So my top 10 is comprised of MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Russell, Shaq, Duncan, Kobe, Hakeem. That's my top 10. Okay, that's my top 10. Now, in terms of Kobe, or rather their top 10, I'm trying to think, what do these guys have that Kobe doesn't have for them to be like, these guys deserve to be in the top 10 over Kobe? I'm trying to figure, what is this thing that Stephen Curry has? What is this thing? Now, I want to expose something to you guys about the bias that is inherent in this list. And I'm going to tell you guys why it's a hit piece against Kobe. First of all, what is clear from their list is that they don't really value defense, or they only value defense from certain players. That's what this list tells me. They value defense from certain players and others they don't. They value it from MJ's standpoint. They don't value it from LeBron's standpoint. They probably valued it from Kareem's standpoint. They don't value it from Magic Johnson's standpoint. They definitely value it from Bill Russell's standpoint. Shaq, not so much. Tim Duncan, yes. Larry Bird, yes. Wilt, yes. Stephen Curry, hell no. So I can easily make an argument, because you can talk about MVPs, but I can say, how can you be a top 10 player in NBA history when you've never made a defensive team in your life? How? How can you be... Wait. Somebody said, bro, stop bringing up defense, which is half of basketball, or if not half, at least a third. He then said, so I'm going to remove defense to make his argument work. He said, stop bringing up defense. Okay. I can say, stop bringing up shooting. I don't understand. You're telling me to select something out that doesn't benefit you. Okay, take out shooting. Stop bringing up shooting. Stop bringing up passing. He said, stop bringing up defense. Kobe is light years better. Oh, I thought you said behind. Oh, I thought you said behind. I thought you said, I didn't see better. I thought you said behind. I'm like, what? Okay, I thought you said behind Curry. So for me, I told Gil this. I said, listen, man, this is how you expose these people who hate Kobe Bryant. This is how you expose them. And this is the easiest way to destroy this list. The simplest way to destroy the Bleacher Report list is by using this line of thinking. I asked Gil, I said, when did Kobe Bryant enter the top 10? Let's think about this properly. Everybody comes into the NBA and they're starting at 0. And then as time goes on, they begin to move up the ladder. And as more time goes on, they now get into the top 50, the top 30, the top 20, and the top 10. We can all agree with that. When Kobe came into the NBA, he was a top nothing. When Michael Jordan came into the NBA, he was a top nothing. But then things started to occur, time started to go on, they started to perform, and then ultimately they now became they started ranking. So I asked Gil, I said, when did Kobe get into the top 10 in your mind? Do you know what year Gil said? And I wish he was here. Do you know what year Gilbert Arenas said? Gilbert Arenas said Kobe entered the top 10 in 2010. I want you guys to listen very carefully how this is playing out, because this has nothing to do with metrics or some type of scientific method. It has everything to do with the fact of who people like and who people don't like. I want you guys to listen to this carefully. Gil said Kobe entered the top 10 in 2010. Now, I want to show you another stat he showed me, which is in 2010, he said Kobe became a top 10 player. I said, okay, he showed me the list. Look at this list quickly. Who do you see at number 5? Oscar Robertson, right? Kobe's 10 in 2010. Oscar Robertson is 5. Where do you see LeBron James? Let me hold it up closer for you guys. I didn't send this to myself. This is from Gil. I said, where do you see LeBron here? He's nowhere to be found, right? I then asked Gil, I said, where was LeBron ranked in 2011? Are you ready for this? Gil showed me that LeBron was ranked 31. I want to expose these guys to you because this is a hit piece on Kobe Bryant and his legacy. So in 2010, Kobe was ranked 10, according to these guys. This is the list he sent me. I believe this is from, it looks like Basketball Reference from what I can ascertain. In 2010, LeBron is 31. I then asked Gil, I said, if Kobe's at 10 in 2010, LeBron is at 31 in 2010, when did LeBron get to 2? And Gil said, LeBron got to 2 around 2016, 17. I told Gil, I said, so let me figure this out. Kobe had been in the NBA for what? At 2010, Kobe had been in the NBA, what, 13 years or so? So it took Kobe 13 years to get to 10. And it took LeBron James 6 years to jump from 31 to 2. I want you guys to think about this. They say they're using metrics. There are no metrics. There are no metrics. There are 0 metrics being applied here. And whatever metrics they have, they expose themselves by including Curry, because there's no measurement system you can come up with. And in a world, it would produce Stephen Curry being better than Kobe Bryant. There are none. So I then said, Gil, let me figure this out. What happened between 2011 for LeBron and 2016? In that time frame, he won 3 championships. and lost 2. One of them was an horrendous result. So you're telling me in 2011, LeBron was sitting on 0 championships. By 2016, he has 3. And that would put him ahead of Kobe Bryant? Well, that makes no sense. But that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. And I said, why is it taking LeBron less time to get into the top 10 than Kobe? Why? I also brought up this point. I said, Gil, look, and I wish he was here. I said, Kobe was being compared to MJ in 2010. How could a player that's compared to Michael Jordan not be a top 10 player? How is that possible? They said the reason Kobe didn't make the top 10 was because he never at one point was the best player. Appreciate the super chat. How is this possible? Here's another problem with their list. If you look at their top 10, who do they have in at number 6? Shaq. They have Shaq at number 6. Well, that's interesting. Shaq made it to 6, but Kobe couldn't make it in the top 10? Really? Is that so? You mean the Kobe that Shaq was saying was the best player in the world when he was playing with him? The Kobe that went on to win 2 more championships without Shaq? I'm confused. For the new people coming into the live, let me tell you guys my criteria for ranking players. 25% is eye test. 25% is stats and accolades. 25% is era, competition / context. And 25% is leadership and intangibles. I factor all of them in. I then asked Gil. I said, Gil. He said, Kobe, after 2010, what occurred after that hurt his legacy. The losing and all of that. I said, okay, no problem, Gil. I said, after 2020, the losing and all of that doesn't affect LeBron? Missing the play-in tournament with 3 or 4 Hall of Famers or 5 Hall of Famers on your roster, and you only win 33 games or 36 games or whatever, that doesn't affect your legacy? I said, why are there things that hurt Kobe, but they don't hurt LeBron? How? How is that possible? How is this possible? How? Now, I want to talk about why the Bleacher Report method is flawed, because they're using metrics, and why I say I take into account the era, the competition, and the context. First of all championships are not weighed the same. You and I may have a championship each, but it doesn't mean it carries the same importance. I'll give you guys an example. Almost nobody values Kevin Durant's championships. Nobody. Almost nobody. But a lot of people value, for example, LeBron's championship in 16, or Dirk's championship in 11, or Kawhi's championship in 19. Those championships carry a different weight, but we all have championships. So I told Gil, I said, the reason I'm factoring competition and era is because LeBron has 4 rings. His 4th ring, he won against a depleted Miami Heat team with players like Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo, who was hurt, and Jimmy Butler. Kobe's 5th ring, he won against 3 Hall of Famers, 3 top 75 guys, and he played with Pau Gasol. So in the end, yes, LeBron's ring against Miami is a ring. Kobe's ring against the Celtics, their rings. But the context tells you that one ring was way more impressive than the other. So this metric system of weighing championships doesn't quite work. It doesn't. Why I use context? Dirk Nowitzki, his championship run he went on in 2011 is arguably the greatest single run ever by a player. Dirk's ring in 2011. And if you look at the players he beat en route to win that championship in 2011. So Dirk's ring carries a considerable amount of weight versus Kevin Durant's ring. But we're all weighing rings, right? I want to address the point about MVP. Let's address the point about MVP. Here's my issue with MVP. First of all, an MVP doesn't mean you're the best player in the NBA. It doesn't mean that. Somebody said Orlando. The Orlando Magic team was better than that Heat team. The Orlando Magic team was better than that Heat team they played in 2020. That's a fact. Because that Orlando Heat Magic team was at least fully healthy. And they had better players. Dwight Howard is better than Jimmy Butler. They had Hedo Turkoglu, Mikael Pietrus, Jameer Nelson. I think JJ Redick was on that team. I forgot who else was on that. They were a better team. Nobody's going to argue that the Miami Heat in 2020 were better than the Mavs. And do you know how we know they was better? They beat a 60-plus win team of LeBron. They made him quit. Y'all keep telling me LeBron to go. Dwight Howard's team beat him. Rashard Lewis, exactly. They beat them. So how much ass was the Orlando team? Because the team that Kobe beat was a team that beat LeBron's team, who won 60-something games. I think it was like 62 or 66-something. I forgot the number. Since you want to talk about Orlando. Since y'all want to talk about Orlando. But anyway, back to my point about Kobe. Kobe was beating Hall of Famers, but let's get to the other point about why they got Stephen Curry and all of these guys on the list ahead of Kobe Bryant. Let's look at the context of it all. Kobe was playing in a much slower paced era, much slower paced, and he led a decade in scoring in the slowest paced era ever. Those two Kobe championships that he won in 09 and 10, he beat more 50-win teams than Magic Johnson had played in his career. This is why I said context is important. He beat more 50-win teams than Magic Johnson did in his career in a 2-year window. He has 15 all NBA. Is it 15 or 15 all? Let me see. Kobe has what? 15 all NBA selections. 15. He has 9 all first defense selections. 9. I think him and Tim Duncan are tied for the most in NBA history. Tim Duncan has 8. Kobe has more all defense selections than Tim Duncan. I want y'all to think about that. Kobe has more all defensive than Timmy Duncan. Kobe has twice the amount of defensive selections than LeBron James. Twice. But I want to get to this point about MVPs. Regular season MVPs. Here's my issue with MVPs, because this entire thing seems to be based on regular season MVPs. First of all, the regular season MVP doesn't tell you you're the best player in the world. It doesn't. The regular season MVP doesn't mean you're the best player in the world that year. If it did, Michael Jordan would have won all of them. So it doesn't mean you're the best player in the NBA. Number one. Number two, the MVP, the reason I give it no level of respect the way other people do is because I sat back and watched MVP voters give 2 MVPs to Steve Nash over Shaq and Kobe. So why is Steve Nash not in the top 10? If MVPs are so important, why is Steve Nash not in the top 20? I mean, he has more MVPs than Shaq and Kobe. Why is Steve Nash not in the top 20? He has 2 MVPs. People talk about Kobe only has 1 MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go back to my criteria, the context. What's the reason Kobe doesn't have more than 2 MVPs? Is it because he wasn't good enough to win 2 MVPs? Well, that's patently absurd. Of course he was. If he was good enough to win 1, he could win 2. So why didn't Kobe win more than 1 MVP, guys? Was it because he wasn't good enough? The people that believe in Bleacher Report's list, why didn't Kobe win more than 2? Is it because he wasn't good enough? We all know the reason why Kobe didn't win more than 1 MVP was because of his case with Colorado. That's why. That's why he didn't win the MVP multiple years. So they gave it to Steve Nash. They gave it to Steve Nash over Shaq. So why isn't Steve Nash in the top 20? Kobe Bryant did not respect LeBron James because he wants everything handed to him without having to work hard. Appreciate that. They blackballed Kobe. The NBA thought Kobe was going to go to prison. He was being accused of R. So how can you give an MVP to a player being accused of R? You honestly believe they were going to vote Kobe Bryant that? And you honestly believe that because Steve Nash won the MVP, that means he's better than Kobe? Are we using our thinking caps here? Are we using our thinking cap? When LeBron was winning MVPs, he wasn't the best player in the NBA. Kobe was. When LeBron was winning MVPs, he was not better than Kobe. I'm not saying it. He said it. I'm not saying it. LeBron said it. Now, some of y'all will be like, well, LeBron was being humble. When have you ever known LeBron James to be humble? When LeBron was winning MVPs, go pull up the videos and let them play the videos. Who's the best player in the world? He didn't say himself. He said Kobe Bryant was the best player in the world. So what does MVP really mean? My 4th criteria, leadership. Leadership. You need to look no further about Kobe's leadership than 2 examples. The 2008 Olympics team and the effect he had on Pau Gasol. Kobe turned Pau Gasol into a winner. Kobe had a similar effect on Pau that Jordan had on Pippen. I know they're trying to make Scottie Pippen and Jordan's teammates look bigger than life right now. But Kobe had the same impact on Pau that Jordan had on Pippen. I'm not making this up. Scottie Pippen said it himself. Scottie Pippen talked about how being around Michael Jordan elevated him and made him a better. He said it. I didn't say it. We've done shows about it. When Pau got to the Lakers, he was a one-time All-Star. One time. When they lost in the finals, they were calling Pau soft. Pau got around Kobe in that next go-round in the next finals. 2 finals later, he became a nastier player. That's Kobe's leadership. They're not taking any of that into account. And finally, I must ask this question. This list says they value winning, but there's one problem. There's one problem about this list. Let's look at the top 10 players. And let me ask you guys, what's the odd thing in this top 10 list? Magic, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Shaq, Duncan, Bird, Wilt, Steph. What is the thing that stands out about that list? What's the odd thing about that top 10? What do 9 of those players have that one doesn't have? What do 9 of those players have on that list, but one guy doesn't have it? A losing record in the finals. Every one of those guys, especially the top 5, all have winning records in the finals. There's only one guy that I can think of that has a losing record in the finals, but somehow, some way, found a way to make it into the top 2. All of those guys have winning records except LeBron James. Except him. But they want to say they value winning. And you value championships. How do you value championships when one guy has a losing record in the finals and there's another guy that has a winning record in the finals, and more championships, but you're keeping him out because one guy has more MVPs? The only reason I can think of them ranking LeBron ahead of Kobe is because of regular season MVPs. I can't think of any other reason beyond that. I can't. Now, let me tell you why I mentioned context as one of my criteria. Let me understand something. You are telling me that I'm supposed to rank LeBron in the top 3 after watching him lose in 2011? I'm supposed to rank LeBron in the top 3 after I've seen him quit on so many teams? I'm supposed to rank LeBron in the top 3 after I have seen him crumble under pressure time and you're telling me that doesn't matter. And you're telling me the players that rose under pressure, that elevated their games under pressure, that doesn't matter? Stephen Curry. What's one of the knocks on Stephen Curry? He's the greatest shooter of all time that I would never trust to take a last-minute shot. I'm confused. How are you the greatest player of all time, but nobody trusts you to take a last-minute winning shot? How are you in the top 10 and we cannot even put you on anybody to guard anybody in a series? That we have to hide, that you're a liability on the floor defensively. What liability did Kobe Bryant present on the floor while playing? What's Kobe Bryant's deficiency? What's Kobe's deficiency? You have to hide Stephen Curry on defense. He will get exploited. Kobe can score in way more ways than Stephen Curry. You can't run a triangle offense with Curry. You can run it with Kobe. As a matter of fact, Kobe was so skilled of an offensive player, they ran the triangle out at him, with him. Somebody said inefficient shooting. Kobe shot for his percentage, his correct percent. Okay, let's get to the shooting thing. Okay, let's get to the shooting thing because I think this is something that LeBron fans feel like why Kobe, because now it's inefficient shooting. Now it's inefficient shooting. Okay, let's address this once and for all. Why does Kobe Bryant shoot 45% from the field? Can anybody tell me in the comment section? Matter of fact, the people that say Kobe Bryant is inefficient, why does Kobe shoot 45% from the field? LeBron fans, I'm sure y'all in the comments, y'all can tell me. Why? Is it because he can't shoot? The simple reason, and this is why I gave 25% to the eye test. The simple reason Kobe shot 45% was, number one, his style of play. Kobe was a jump shooter. From 2000 to 2010, Kobe made over 2,000 unassisted jumpers. 2,000. That's more than Dirk. That's more than Allen Iverson. That's more than LeBron James. But you guys like to talk about efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, what is LeBron's shooting percentage outside of 10 feet? What is LeBron's career shooting percentage outside of 10 feet? What is it? It's 37%. Outside of 10 feet, it's 37. Every distance beyond 10 feet and out to the three-point line, Kobe shoots a much higher percentage. The reason LeBron has a high shooting percentage is because he drives a lot to the basket. That is all. And to me, I think the way to tell if a shooter actually is an efficient shooter is by looking at his shooting mechanics. If LeBron was in fact a more efficient shooter than Kobe, why has he never shot above 80% from the free throw line? Y'all love efficiency. Why has he never shot above 80% from the free throw line? Y'all love efficiency. Y'all love efficiency. What's next? Y'all gonna say LeBron is a better shooter than Mike? You see, the stats could tell you. You could play a game with stats and tell you, oh yeah, LeBron is a better shooter. Look at his stats. But anybody that ever watched basketball will tell you that's insane. So what's happening now is people that watch ball are calling this list BS. So for the people that agree with Bleacher Report, why are there so many people that disagree? If it's so obvious, why does almost everybody disagree with it? If the list is good, why does everybody disagree with it? This list is a troll list. And what I am amazed at is people that are bending themselves into pretzels to try to make sense out of nonsense. They know what they're seeing is nonsense, but yet they're surrendering common sense to make sense out of nonsense. Gil's top three players, MJ, Kobe, and LeBron. But then we'll sit down and tell you, but let me explain to you why this makes sense. Gil, if it made sense to you, you would have used that line of thinking a long time ago. If this really made sense, you would have been using it to evaluate players, but you're not. Nobody is. Nobody. So for the new people that just came into the live, I want to share something with y'all. Turaw, look at this. Turaw is in the building. Shout out to Turaw. We were supposed to get Gil on here, but he couldn't make it. So I asked Gil a question. Turaw, I want you to listen to this to show you why this list has nothing to do with sense. I said, Gil, when did Kobe Bryant become a top 10 player? Turaw, I want you to hear this, and everybody else. He said in 2010, and he showed me the list. Turaw, look at this. Kobe was ranked 10 in 2010. All right? Turaw, look at this list. By the way, they have Oscar Robertson at number 5. Now he didn't even make the list. Look at Shaq and all these guys moving up. So he said Kobe was 2010. I said, cool. I said, somebody said what? Somebody said that's about right, right? DC. Good. DC in the comment section. I want us all to pay attention to what DC said. Let's allow DC to respond. Don't leave any comments. DC, do you agree with this list? Please say yes or no. That in 2010, Kobe was ranked top 10 all time. DC, please leave a yes in the comments. Let's allow DC to comment. DC, please leave another chat. That sounds about right. Let me hear it again. I want to hear what this guy has to say. DC, we're waiting for you. Do you agree with that? Yes, thank you. Okay. DC, so I asked Gil, I said, Where did they rank LeBron James in 2010, 2011? DC, allow DC to respond, please. I want to hear what DC said. Do they have LeBron ranked at 31? 31. DC, do you agree? Yo, these dudes is easy work, man. DC, do you agree? Let DC talk. So you agree LeBron should be 31 in 2011. Good. So DC, you're telling me that from 2011 to 2016, LeBron went from being ranked 31 to number 2. Does that make sense to you? Allow DC to talk. Does it make sense to you? Let me hear this mumbo jumbo that we're about to hear. No. Now it's not at all. So, the very reason you're saying that it makes sense for Kobe, you're saying it makes no sense for LeBron. So, what metrics is that? What metrics is hate? What metrics is hate? Because if you're saying that you agree with Kobe being ranked number 10 and he had been at the NBA at that point, 2011, he had been in the NBA, what, 14 years or thereabout? Yeah, about 14 years. No, 14 years or so. It took him 14 years to get to number 10. But it took LeBron James 5 years to go from 31 to 2. So what happened in those 2 years? LeBron won 3 championships, lost in 2 finals, and that made him jump everybody to go next to number 2. Does that make any sense? Of course it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Absolutely none of it. In 2010, when Kobe, they were starting to talk about him and Jordan, you could make a legitimate argument that Kobe was either 3 to 7, depending on who you're asking. Because some people still hold out for Kareem. So you could say Kobe was either a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th greatest player of all time, depending on who you're talking to. Depending on who you're talking to. But to say that Kobe was number 10 in 2010, LeBron was 31, and then by 2016, 5 years later, he's number 3. There's no argument, except stupidity. For LeBron to have jumped all of those players, because remind you, in 2010, 11, LeBron had 0 rings. 0. He must have had some MVPs. He must have had some all-NBA select. He must have had that, but Kobe had that too, so there's nothing special about it. There's nothing special about it. So what happened was, you're telling me that LeBron winning 3 championships now made him jump Tim Duncan and all that. So let me ask y'all a question then. So if let me ask y'all a question. Since they want to refer to this, I asked Gil, where's Kobe ranked in 2010? He said 10, right? Look at the list again. They have Jordan at number 1. Who do they have at number 2? Wilt, right? They have Bill Russell at number 3, Shaq at number 4, Oscar Robertson at number 5, Kareem at 7, Tim Duncan at 8, Larry Bird at 9. Let me ask y'all a question then. How did all of these players move around up and down this list when they had all retired? We need to make sense out of this nonsense, because this list, this Bleacher Report has nothing to do with sense. It's just all hate. So if this was the list in 2010, how did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar get to number 3? What years did he play from that point forward? LeBron fans, I got to ask y'all a question. How did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar go from number 7 in 2010 to number 3 in 2025? How did that work? I want to hear it. How did it work? How did Kareem go from 7 to 3? Oh, Kareem moved. How did Oscar Robertson go from being a top 5 player to not being mentioned at all in the top 5, in the top 10? How? So look, my ultimate conclusion about this list is this. A lot of these guys in media are LeBron guys. A lot of them. Anybody that's saying that Stephen Curry, why did Kareem go up but Will tumble? Turod, you already know the answer. They got a bunch of chimpanzees in there punching buttons on a wall and rubbing their ass with freaking toilet paper. And then that's how they're doing it. There's no sense being used here. The fact of the matter is this. They have a lot of LeBron guys in media. A lot of LeBron guys that write articles. And a lot of these LeBron guys know that you can't be giving Kobe props. Anybody that says Kobe Bryant is not a top 10 player is an idiot. It is that simple. You are an idiot. There's no other way to say it. You're an idiot. That's all. That's all. And this thing about LeBron becoming a GOAT started when Clutch Sports gained a foothold in media. When they started having Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe were the two people I ever heard say LeBron was a GOAT. Prior to that, I had never heard anybody on TV say LeBron James is a GOAT. Never. And they said the lie so many times it became the truth. If you repeat a lie enough, it'll become the truth. And that's what happened. The other reason this thing is a debate is because of Nike to sell shoes. And the NBA needed a face. So they needed to push LeBron and Jordan. Why? Now, some people say, why not Kobe and Jordan? Why LeBron and Kobe? Some dodos in the comment section feel, well, it's because LeBron is better. No, it's not. The reason they push LeBron and Kobe, LeBron, especially after like 2016 and onwards, was because Kobe had already retired. LeBron was still actively playing. LeBron was still selling shoes. LeBron was still the face of the NBA. So it created conversation, even though it is based off of a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I don't think there's anything close about LeBron and Michael Jordan at all. Absolutely at all. It's clear. And it really has nothing to do with accolade. If you watch them play, you can see that clearly. All of these metrics that they're using don't use context. Why was The Last Dance, why did it have such a huge impression on younger people? Why was that? The reason The Last Dance was so powerful was because a younger generation of NBA fans who never saw Jordan play but heard about him or saw his highlights, what The Last Dance did was it put those highlights into context. It's one thing if you go watch Jordan score the double nickel game when he came back. That's one thing if you go watch the highlight. It's another thing if they put the context around that performance. It's a totally different thing. Totally. It's a totally different thing when the Bulls win their last championship in 98 and you understand what was going on in the background and all of the drama that went into that. That's the reason at the end of The Last Dance, they did a poll. Who's the greatest player? And Jordan won by a land. People were picking Jordan who had a better forehead. Who would you rather have a beer with? If they picked Jordan for everything. Because now younger viewers got a chance to see MJ's career in context. That's what The Last Dance did. So Bleacher Report just out here trying to troll people, man. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their explanation was. All I know is that they're being ridiculed for it. And what this amounts to is an album that dropped that critics said was hot, but everybody said was trash. That's what really happened. Critics said it was hot, but everybody who heard it said it was trash. This is essentially what that is. But in this case, even the critics are saying it's trash. The critics and the listeners. This list is trash. Somebody said if butt hurt, bro, how am I butt hurt? This ain't changing my life. I know it's nonsense. So I mean, I'm not living by this list. I didn't decide who the greatest player what I ever saw was by Bleacher Report's list. Maybe you do. But I don't agree with that. That's just my take on it, man. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on it. Hope you guys enjoyed the live, and we'll definitely catch y'all on the next one. Enjoy. Catch y'all later. I'm out. Peace.